This that Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda, what's good?
I've never seen a union boss act responsible, because I remember you had a student that got killed by cops.
But they aren't allowed to. That's the other part of it.
His grandmother.
Yeah.
When they killed, he was your student?
He was my student.
So when they killed, how old was he?
He was 17 at the time.
So
18.
That's crazy.
In the Bronx.
Yep.
So when they killed him, and they went to the union boss and all of these cops went to the courtroom and was like intimidating the judges and them and like laughing, like celebrating when the cops got off. Like, this is an 18-year-old kid. So, like I said, I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong. Of course, every single cop isn't bad, but these unions, they need to be broken up because they only are on the side of the cop. No matter what a cop does, I've never heard a union say, this is wrong, this isn't right. They're going to stick up for them no matter what. This is why they say it's a gang, because gangs stick up for each other.
Biggest gang in the country.
Stick up for somebody even when they're right or even when they're wrong. And this is what happens every single day. So eventually people going to get tired of it. And it's like, people are like, well, you still got to support the police. Why? Why do we still have to support the police? I don't understand.
Police unions
What's the point?
and associations
What's the point of
spent over
supporting police if they're not supporting us?
unions and police unions spent $48 million on state lobbying and contributed almost $71 million to state level candidates in the last decade alone, according to data tracked by Open Secrets. It's a financial war, man. And of course, politicians can be bought easily. I know sometimes you guys get tired of us talking about money and it's like, yo, it's not the solution for everything. You have to fight. At the end of Machiavelli, Tupac said, when I get my money right now, it's time for war. We need money to hire people to lobby, to be lawyers, to press charges. And for those who are in law enforcement, if you know people in law enforcement, the good cops can't speak out. You ever heard what happens to good cops when they speak out on issues like this?
Yep.
This shit is not good.
Yeah.
That's the other part of it. Like, it's a game inside of a game.
They get bullied.
Yeah, so this just happened. I just got this. And so the 3 Memphis EMTs that were on the scene were fired just now, and the 7th police officer was relieved of his duty in the Tyree Nicholas case. So that just happened just now as we were speaking about it.
Wow.
All right. Well, we'll see.
What did they want the EMTs to do? Stop the police?
No, so the EMTs, obviously, you're a first responder. Firefighters, first responders, police officers are also first responders. And so if you see somebody that's in distress, your job, your duty is to administer them. And so if you watch that video, if you watch in its entirety, you're talking about almost 15 to 20 minutes where they're watching a man who's handcuffed, who's going in and out of consciousness, who's literally fighting for his life. Yeah. And everybody's just standing there. Just like completely like it's not happening. Having conversations about what just happened. You see an officer limping from actually kicking him and hurting his leg. Right? He's getting treatment. But the victim, the senseless crime and the victim of this is his life is waning into balance and nobody's paying attention or even administering him to give him first aid, that's what I said. It's just inhumane. And so they didn't do their duty. And so the report just came in that they were fired as well.
My Lord.
Unfortunate. All right, let's get back to stocks if we can. Intel shares fall sharply on a quarterly loss. What are our thoughts? And is this a good time to buy Intel, or should we leave it alone?
I can't put the dead signature on a chat, but they are on life support. I mean, I've been screaming, put yes in chat if you remember me saying, don't touch Intel. I know they had a strong PR push that they were going to make a comeback. Once again, the high of Intel was in 2000 when Nelly was wearing a Band-Aid on his face. Andale, mommy. Hey, 75.83 was the high. In 2022, it got to $64. Since then, it went from $64 down to $27.95. No, it's not dead yet, but it is on life support. I'm going to signal Espiritu Santo. It's almost over. NVIDIA is a better competitor, especially in the space that we're in now, with GPUs being so important. Intel has lost their way a long time ago. It is a legacy brand that used to have incredible value like IBM, but it's no longer of any value. Shout out to everyone who works there. If you happen to watch the show, it doesn't mean that I don't like you. Just the stock overall is not valued how it was 22 or 23 years ago. It's over.
So Intel had a 25-year reign. It's interesting. I'm gonna actually shout out to, again. I'm gonna put this in the chat, the Market Mondays chat. I'm gonna give people a video that I saw on Wall Street Journal about the history of Intel and its main competitor, which is AMD, right, in the CPU space. Because everybody hears AMD and it almost feels like this is a new company, but it was actually invented in 1969, like 2 years after Intel, became a company, and it came from workers who were actually at Intel and decided to do their own thing.
To leave, yep.
But over the past 5 years, and this is, Lisa Su is a CEO that we don't talk about, but if you watch CNBC, she's always on there. Since she's taken over AMD in 2014, things have changed. And I think when we look at Intel, if it's going to be a company we're going to invest in, I think the biggest thing we have to look at is innovation. Like, what are they going to do that is going to be innovative? Because Intel, well, I'm not, that's my, if we're going to invest. I'm not saying that we should. I'm saying if we're going to.
Oh, yeah.
In 2022, AMD passed it in market cap for the first time in history, which is like, for a company like Intel, which was big on CPUs, which is central processing units for computers, they had a stranglehold on that. A stranglehold. And so to see a company that used to just copy what you did and kind of like passing along, to get a CEO that becomes innovative, that now passes you within 10 years, what's your response going to be? We haven't seen it.
Bad leadership.
We keep seeing quarterly losses from Intel. So the
Intel is the Dallas Cowboys of the chip space. Bunch of promise, never delivered. The best thing they can do that's innovative, self-transition. Sell to Apple.
The Cowboy fans.
Somebody take it out to the pasture. I'm cool with the Cowboy smoke. Y'all not going to win for the next 20 years anyway. It don't matter. Shout out Ish. Get a new team. Get a new team. Intel needs to just go jump off a bridge somewhere and call it a day. Not dead, but it's on life support. I wouldn't touch it.
So what about NVIDIA, which is having a very good start of the year?
I love. It's been one of my babies. I like them and AMD. But NVIDIA has been doing incredibly well. It was down today, 5%, but I do like, let me see if there's a price that I love for NVIDIA. Stock Club, don't kill me. Stock Club prices will be out tomorrow. I like NVIDIA at $86.29. By 2024, end of 2024, I have it going to $376.67. So it is a changing of the guard. Like, Ja Morant is it now. Like, I love AI. AI was my favorite player, but obviously AI is not in the league. Like, you have new players that take over. NVIDIA is like Ja Morant. Like, it may not. Like, sometimes you see the highlights and be like, oh my God. And then when I got the graphics card in my desktop, that thing is powerful. Feels like it can start up a go-kart. They have a huge space. And the thing that I do love about NVIDIA versus Intel, their leadership is very quiet. And they have a good management team that has done a great job at making sure to focus on the products. And if you're a gamer, you already know. Like, I haven't heard any person that games or makes content be like, I want an Intel chip. It's all like wearing lugs or something. I know y'all from New York. So
no. Nobody in New York is wearing lugs.
But no one in New York is wearing lugs.
That's a fact. Right? Oh, yeah. I thought, yeah. That was a Cash Money thing.
Yeah. Shout out to Cash Money. I may see you this weekend. I'm learning.
Yeah. Nah, and this is like a great, I know, Ian, you didn't give a homework assignment, but this is like one of those things, if we're talking about like chips and semiconductors especially, learning the difference between a CPU and a GPU.
GPU, huge difference.
There's a big. That's why I always talk about every chip is not created equal. They're not all the same. They all have different functionalities. When we talk about GPU, and especially the spaces we're talking about, AI and artificial intelligence, and Web3 and these things, you're gonna need graphic cards. And if you want to know who the leader in graphic cards, I mean, it's pretty. It's out in the open. NVIDIA has been leading the way, and if anybody, it's second. It's a distant second right now. So if that's the way,
I mean, and then they have a big competitor in one of my favorite companies. Been working on my Espanol, Manzana, Apple. Like you have to compete against Apple. That's why I say your competition is everyone on earth. They got tired of outsourcing those chips, and now Okay, bring that in house. And I have my meeting with Meta next month. Y'all better cut this check because when this VR headset come out with Apple, y'all gonna be in trouble. Espiritu Santo. Hey, you have to move faster. So when you're looking at a company to invest in, always ask yourself, what would you do if Apple, Microsoft, Tesla became the competitor? Do you still like it? If not, I would invest with the most quality companies, but Intel is on its way to being dead. I'm sorry.
Do remember that we are up for an award.
Yes.
NAACP award. Troy and myself are up in the category of best social media personality. Best social media personality, Rashad Bilal, Troy Millings. NAACP award, very honored. But the reason why I'm saying that is because we need your help.
Yes.
It is a public vote, meaning the way to win is if the public votes for you.
The People's Choice.
People's Choice Award. So there's a tab on our website. You can vote one time a day.
Yes. Set a reminder, please.
Until February 24th. So yes, set your alarm clocks, please. Yes, there's a tab on our website which will allow you to vote. And hopefully we can win.
Shout out to Miss London. I see you on the tube. She said she's been voting every day. Shout out to you. I appreciate it.
Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated.
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Ian, what's up?
This that Red Panda Anthem.
Red Panda,
This
what's
that
good?
Red Panda Anthem.
Your
Whole
boy.
clique going up. I know they can't stand it.